Welcome to a new journey of understanding and wisdom on Life Lesson TV. What really lies at the heart of a marriage that not only survives but thrives? Today we delve into the essence of successful marriages, and to do so, we turn to Sheena and Dinesh from the Sheena Interrupted podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Sheena and Dinesh from the Sheena Interrupted podcast. Their relationship serves as a brilliant example of how deep communication and mutual respect can forge an unbreakable bond between partners. In a particularly enlightening episode, Sheena shares insights that are nothing short of a masterclass in marital success. It's clear that both Sheena and Dinesh prioritize their communication, always striving to ensure that neither voice is lost in the midst of daily life's chaos. They listen, truly listen to each other, demonstrating a level of respect that is palpable. Their interactions are marked by a desire to support and uplift each other consistently, proving that selflessness and a team mentality are not just ideals, but practical pillars of their relationship. This approach allows them to navigate through life's challenges with grace and mutual support. Let's dive into the specifics of how Sheena and Dinesh build and maintain their bond. Imagine a relationship where every word builds a bridge rather than a wall. This is the essence of what Sheena and Dinesh exemplify in their interactions. Let's delve into how their commitment to open communication sets a standard for what many aspire to achieve in a partnership. In the podcast, Sheena often speaks with a clarity and gentleness that invites dialogue, not discord. Dinesh, on the other hand, listens intently, his responses thoughtful and measured. There's a particular moment where Sheena shares a concern about balancing work and family life. Instead of brushing her concerns aside, Dinesh acknowledges her feelings, suggesting they brainstorm solutions together. The simple act of validation shows he not only hears her words but feels their weight. Another exemplary instance occurs when the couple discusses future plans. Sheena presents her ideas with excitement, and Dinesh supports her enthusiasm, adding his own thoughts but ensuring he's not overshadowing her. This mutual give and take in conversations doesn't just happen. It's a cultivated art that they've mastered over time, emphasizing the importance of both partners feeling equally heard and valued. Let's look at this clip from the podcast.
Hi everyone, I'm Sheena Melwani and we're back with another episode. The reason that I thought to do this episode today was because something really weird happened when we came back from India. So for the first 2 days, we got up really early. We were super excited to hit the ground running. We were very productive. And then I think the reality of life kind of settled a little, and all the things that we had neglected to do for those 2 weeks started feeling very real. So we came back. I think we were both a little stressed out when we realized the reality of life and all the things that we didn't do. And so I think that what happens between us, and correct me if I'm wrong or not, but what happens between us is that we kind of go into autopilot of our own responsibilities. And it's you take care of your thing, I take care of my thing, and then we find each other again when things have settled.
What are your things? What are my things?
All the things that were piling up with my work versus all the things that were piling up with your work. So you had to sort through and sift through all of those things. And when you were coming home, it seemed like you were a little stressed, extra stressed. I was a little bit more stressed and trying to figure out what was happening at home with the kids, trying to get back on like the grocery schedule and my own work schedule. And I feel like we were not necessarily in sync.
So what is this episode about still? I'm figuring out.
What to do when you don't like each other so much.
I have things to share. I think you have to draw a distinction here first.
Okay.
Because not liking someone
Yeah.
doesn't mean you don't love someone.
Correct.
So I still love you.
Same.
But, I mean, can't always like you.
Right.
You're not that likable sometimes.
Right. Okay, so it's
You
true.
distracted me
when
with your
you
vixen
don't
eyes
like
looking at
each
me
other
belly.
so much, it's not because you don't love each other. It's not because you've necessarily even had a fight. Sometimes you're just not like super infatuated with each other in that moment. Sometimes life happens, life gets in the way, stress gets in the way, and you kind of just coexist. You're almost like roommates. And I feel like this week we've been more roommates than like,
Could that be because you brought children in the room every day?
no.
That's why you felt like a roommate? Because you literally brought a child into the room every
No,
single
that
day.
was our kids were happy to see us.
Uh-huh.
They missed us. You
I
agreed
missed
to
them
have
too.
them.
I missed them.
Yeah, so you agreed to have them in the room too.
But that didn't mean I didn't like you this week.
I'm not saying that I didn't like you. I'm just saying it just
I
sparked
think
a
that's
thought.
what you're saying.
No,
just
it
now, if you
just-
rewind about 1 minute, you said this episode's about not liking you.
It just sparked
I'm okay
a
with that.
thought. I didn't not like you. I just
I think
felt
you
like
did not like
we
me.
were
This episode is wasted if you actually liked me this whole week. Just you can't like say hypothetically. Just dive in.
Okay, fine.
This is
I
a
didn't
paid
like
show
you.
now. You have to go for the audience.
Okay, fine.
These people are listening to
But I
commercials to
did
listen
still
to you.
love you, and I did
Yeah.
still want to like.
I
be
didn't even know you didn't like me,
supportive.
so it's cool.
I don't
You don't have
think
to
you liked
apologize.
very much either.
I didn't not like you.
But you
I was
didn't
just-
really like me.
No, I thought you were okay.
I thought you were okay. Also.
No, you didn't like me. Again, you just said that.
You're putting words.
You
in
set
my-
the episode, not me.
Stop it. Listen, it just sparked a thought.
Yeah.
I didn't say that I didn't like you, but I just sparked a thought that sometimes when you're in a relationship, you're just kind of existing together, but you don't really like, you're not hands all over
So
each
how
other.
do you get over that?
You just let it pass. Like the hardest thing I think in these moments is not to like pick a fight.
It's also noteworthy how they handle disagreements. Rather than letting frustrations build, they address issues as they arise, maintaining a rule to never go to bed angry. In one episode, Dinesh expressed a minor frustration about household tasks. Instead of reacting defensively, Sheena considered his point of view, and they agreed on a new approach to share responsibilities more equitably. This resolution prevented a molehill from turning into a mountain, illustrating their proactive approach to communication. This level of understanding and responsiveness doesn't merely resolve conflicts. It strengthens the bonds of their relationship. Each conversation, whether lighthearted or serious, is an opportunity to deepen their connection, to understand each other more fully. Now back to the podcast.
So we came back from India and we were both kind of in our own little lanes. And I think that what was really hard for me was I wanted to keep asking you if you were okay. I wanted to keep saying like, is everything all right? Are you stressed? And I wanted to talk about it because that's what helps me, talking about things. And you just shut down when things like that happen. You just put your head down and you power through. And I think that's what you were doing. And for me, it felt like I wanted to stir and shake you up a little bit because I wanted to get some sort of a reaction from you. And then I realized this is just him putting his head down and trying to get through his work. The same way that I needed to put my head down and get through my stuff. But I think that sometimes you also have to realize that I'm going through something and like want to come back to me too.
So what do you need?
I think what I need is very different than what you need all the time. Like
But
I
what do
need
you need?
conversation. I need to talk to my partner to know that we're fine.
No, for you.
For me,
when you're
I need
feeling you're
I need
trying
to
to
talk
get
it
out
out
of your thing.
I need to talk it out. I need to say, "Oh, I did this and then I did this and then this happened and so said this and what do you think about this and what do you do when this happens?" And like I need to verbalize those
Why
things.
do you not do that if you need to do that?
Because you don't give anything back. You're just
So
completely
you say,
shut
oh,
down.
this happened. And I say, uh-huh.
Yep.
And you don't feel like keep going?
No. And then it just shuts down the conversation. And sometimes I say that to you and you're like, oh, tell me more about that. And then you feel like talking. But when you say, or you're on your phone or you're playing with the kids, then all of a sudden my triggers and my like warning bells go up like, oh, something's wrong, he's mad, something's up, are we fighting, did I say something, did he say something, did we do something, did I like whatever, all of the wheels start spinning like what happened here that we're not communicating at our best.
I have very simple things.
Yes.
I just had this stroke of genius idea.
Oh.
Okay?
Okay.
Let me share it with you.
Okay.
For the first time.
Okay.
If there are things that I do that bother you,
Yeah. Oh God.
why don't you write them on a list?
Oh my God.
Wait, let me finish this genius idea.
This brand new.
We'll put this brand new genius idea. You get 3 things you get to write. And then I will see these things and I'll say, oh, this is what's bothering her.
Yeah.
I can attempt to fix it.
Yeah.
So that's one idea.
Yeah.
Because then if something's a trigger, you said the word trigger, that can help minimize triggers.
Yeah.
So if you give me the indicators, I can know, and I can do the same thing and tell you, hey, these are some of my triggers. And then those triggers will be eliminated from each of our behavior because we will know to watch out for, and then you could replace it with a new trigger.
But I don't think that you really, like, nothing happened. I don't
But
think
I'll
that
tell
you
you
even
more.
knew what was going on.
But there's more.
Okay.
Wait. You need to talk.
Yeah.
So talk. And then if I'm not being responsive, you should say, it would help me if you would carry this conversation with me. Now, let me tell you about my side.
Okay.
I don't need that.
I know you don't.
I don't need the conversation.
But actually, I feel like sometimes you need the opposite of that, which also then
No, I don't. I'll tell you what I need. You don't have to guess. Just give me a second. I'll tell you exactly what I need. I make it very simple for you. Just like I'm asking you to tell me what you need. Be selfish. Say what you need, and then I can deliver.
Yeah.
Irrespective of my mood, I can deliver if you just tell me what you need.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I told you what I need.
Yeah.
But what I need is different. I don't need to talk to you about some issue I'm dealing with, particularly where, of course, I have to talk to you if it deals with our family or the kids or our house or us. But if it's purely work related,
Yeah.
you don't
need to get it
want to talk to you. I don't think I can. There's like nuances there that won't even be productive.
Yeah.
So what I need in those instances is for you to be completely normal. I don't need you to be quiet. I need you to be perfectly normal. And you always make fun of the Buchis, but when you think you're giving me space, you're pulling away. Because naturally you don't pull away. Naturally you're not quiet. Naturally you're not saying, oh, I'll give you space. And not once since you've known me have I ever asked for space. So where I need space, I take it myself. And if you think I'm dealing with something and I don't tell you, hey, can I get a minute? I just want everything to be normal. I want you to be exactly how you are.
But as a couple,
Yeah.
when you're in a relationship, we often feed on each other's moods, right?
Yeah.
So you're acting differently. It naturally happens
So
that
I know-
the other person will act differently. And
Correct.
if I'm acting differently, it's natural that you act differently.
So I'm just telling you what helps.
Yeah.
Clearly, talking things out isn't just about airing grievances. It's about forging deeper connections. In a world that often celebrates the me, Sheena and Dinesh celebrate the we. Diving into the heart of their relationship, it becomes clear that selflessness isn't just a word for them. It's a practice woven deeply into the fabric of their daily lives. Now back to the podcast.
Luckily for us, I am like a computer. I shut down at night and then I reboot in the morning. And then I get a renewed sense of the day. And whatever it was that was there the day before, it either remains or it's gone. But I get that every day. And sometimes the weight is heavier and it takes longer. And sometimes it's lighter and you move forward.
Yeah. The reason that I wanted to talk about this is because I think that this is something that a lot of couples go through, and you tend to feed off of the other person's reactions. And sometimes it's easy for one person to just say, okay, they're going through something. I'm just going to be myself and I'm going to wait out this storm until it passes. I'm not going to pick a fight. I'm not going to do anything drastic, and I'll let them just glide back into the same, to this travel lane. Or vice versa, right? This person's having a hard time. That person says, oh, I'm just going to give her a minute, or I'm going to give them a minute. And when they come back, we'll find ourselves again. But there are often times where both people are going through their own stuff and it has nothing to do with the other person. Like your stuff had nothing to do with me and my stuff had nothing to do with you. It's not that you were irritating me. It's not that I was irritating you. It's that we came back to a house that needed to have pieces picked up and kids were missing us. And so they needed a little extra attention, and we came back to a lot of work. And so we were both going through our stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that it's a really important lesson, or just a conversation to have, that sometimes I'm not able, or the one party is not able to just quote unquote be normal, right? You're also going through your stuff. So you just kind of have to remind yourself that this is not that person trying to tick you off. This is
But
not
wait,
that...
did you feel that way? Did you feel like I was trying to annoy you?
I thought something was wrong. I thought something was maybe happened at work, or
yeah. But I would tell you.
I thought for a second, like, oh, did we have a fight? Did something happen with one of the kids? And once I went through that mental exercise and realized there was nothing in particular that happened in our home, it must be a work-related thing. And so I think the point of this is, we were not necessarily, I think our relationship works really, really well when we're on the same team and we're totally in sync and we're seeing eye to eye on things and we're having these open communication moments. But I also think that there are moments in a relationship where you're not fighting, but you're not exactly in sync and you're not exactly keyed in and locked in, or having these moments of open communication. And that's okay too. That's real life.
I think a part of it is when you come back into a situation that you haven't been in for a while, there are also more pieces involved. Like when we were traveling, you're not responsible for many of the things you otherwise are responsible for in your own environment.
Yeah.
And the two things that come to my mind immediately, because everyone understands this, everyone struggles with this. One is the ego.
Yeah.
Like you have your own stuff, your partner has their stuff, and nobody wants to feel like their stuff is more important or not as important as the other person's stuff. So when everyone's clamoring to figure things out, there's this easy way to say, how come you're doing this and or why do I have to pick up these pieces while the other person is, off dealing with their stuff? That is a dangerous slope. And none of this is easy, right? But relationships aren't easy. You have to work on these things. If you can't get the result you see and you desire without actively working on it. And my thought is push through the ego and try to emphasize your partner's joy.
Consider the moments when tensions might rise, a common scenario in any relationship. Instead of allowing his ego to take the front seat, Dinesh takes a remarkable approach. He steps back, assessing not how to win an argument, but how to foster peace and happiness in the moment. This isn't about losing or conceding. It's about choosing battles wisely and prioritizing emotional harmony over personal victory. It's a testament to the strength of their bond that in moments of potential conflict, happiness for the other is the paramount goal. Now back to the podcast.
If your partner is happy, it all works out. And if you're both trying to do that, if you can actually put the happiness of your significant other in front of your own, and you can put yourself in that position for how many ever days you're capable of doing that, you will exponentially increase the joy in your home.
Yeah.
And that becomes very difficult to do when you're feeling down or you have other
feeling
things going
stressed,
down. You feel like this person doesn't deserve it. I don't like them right now.
Yeah.
So why should I do this to emphasize their joy?
Yeah.
Be selfish. It's because it will come back to bring you joy. And I try to do that every day. I probably fail most days, but I try to do that because when I ignore what I want to do in the moment, but I do what I think will make you happy or will give you a little bit of a break, I do it and it comes back tenfold.
And what of Sheena? Her respect and admiration for Dinesh are palpable. In her interactions, you can see a deliberate effort to nurture and support, rather than to challenge or compete. This mutual dance of give and take is not performed out of obligation, but from a genuine desire to see the other thrive. This ethos of selflessness feeds into every interaction they have. Whether it's a small gesture like brewing the other's favorite coffee in the morning, or something larger like supporting each other through career changes or personal challenges, each act of kindness and consideration strengthens their connection exponentially. Moreover, their approach during disagreements is particularly enlightening. Dinesh's method of setting aside his ego to focus on Sheena's happiness in heated moments does more than just diffuse potential arguments. It builds a layer of trust and gratitude that is hard to shake. It's a clear demonstration that in their relationship, the well-being of we always triumphs over the satisfaction of me. In essence, the selflessness displayed by Sheena and Dinesh is not merely about making sacrifices. It's about enriching each other's lives, making the relationship a fertile ground for mutual growth and deep, enduring affection. It seems that in giving we receive. Nowhere is this truer than in love. Now back to the podcast.
The other thing I'll say, and this is going to be harder, but is something that I'm sure other people deal with. When you have kids, that's a whole other layer of significant complexity that comes into a relationship.
Yeah.
In our relationship, we didn't have kids for a while.
Yeah.
Then we had kids.
Yeah.
And as the kids grow and they start bringing their own issues into the dynamic, there are scenarios where for the first time in your life, at least this was our case,
Yeah.
for the first time in my life, I went from defending you from absolutely anybody else on the planet because
defending
you were
them.
on my side. Like, so you could be 100% wrong. But if I were in a situation where you were 100% wrong and somebody was speaking to you in a certain way or not being kind, I would defend you.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden you have children and you put yourself in the scenario where the roles have been reversed. Now the child is 100% wrong. You're speaking to them in a tone that's supposed to be disciplining them. And my instinct is to defend the child.
Right.
Because somebody is harming someone I care deeply about.
Yeah.
And I've thought about this a lot. Like, wait, do I care about my child more than my spouse? I don't think that's true. But what I think is true is that one is an adult
Yeah.
and the other is a
And
child.
capable of defending themselves.
And as they get older, they'll get more
Yeah.
capable. And I think that will
No,
that
I mean that
instinct
the
will fade.
adult is
Yeah.
capable of defending themselves. I totally get what you're saying.
So
I totally understand.
when we come back from a trip and now you have to deal with kids who have been obviously under the loving care of grandparents for a week, and grandparents did exactly what grandparents should be doing when they're left with the kids for that period of time. They give them the reins get loose and they enjoy their time with their grandparents. But then when you come back as parents, you have to tighten up the reins a little bit. So part of this is, for me anyways, trying to digest that communication
Right.
and listening to it. And we've said this before.
Yeah.
I have a really hard time with hearing discipline in certain instances, and you feel like it's necessary.
Yeah.
So I don't say anything because the logical side of my brain says she's correct, but the emotional side of me says I don't like the way this is happening.
Right.
And not that was, again, I'm just raising this as an example because
Yeah.
there may have been one situation that I heard in the last 10 days.
Right.
But it's another area that it's very interesting that can come into a dynamic.
Absolutely.
And that back to your point, communication becomes important because if you don't share it, the person will never know.
Right.
What does it mean to work on your relationship every single day? It's a question that might seem daunting at first, but in the life of Sheena and Dinesh, it translates into a beautiful tapestry of daily dedication and mutual effort. Let's delve into how this couple, as discussed in the Sheena Interrupted podcast, embodies the essence of keeping their relationship vibrant and strong. Every day is a new chapter, not just in words, but in actions. They aren't just living, they're consciously crafting their life together. Firstly, planning and setting goals is a significant part of their relationship strategy. It's not about grand gestures every single day, but rather about small, meaningful actions and decisions that accumulate over time. They plan regular date nights, set aside time for deep, uninterrupted conversations, and ensure they're on the same page when it comes to their life goals. Moreover, daily rituals play a crucial role. Whether it's a morning coffee together, a walk after dinner, or simply asking each other about their day, these rituals become the glue that holds their relationship together. It's in these moments that they find comfort and connection. Communication, as always, is at the heart of their daily interactions. They don't shy away from discussing the tough stuff, whether it's money matters, future plans, or even their fears and insecurities. This open line of communication ensures that no issue becomes too big to handle, and no grievance lingers long enough to fester into resentment. Now back to the podcast.
But that's something that happens. People, you have boys, you have girls, you have older kids, you have younger kids, you have middle kids,
Yeah.
you have the quiet little sweet kids, you have the
Yeah.
boisterous loud kids.
And then you have
they
two
get
parents
different,
that discipline differently.
and you have two parents who are just human beings now responsible for other human beings.
Yeah.
So take it easy on yourselves.
Yeah.
And tomorrow's another day.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like maybe I know more women that beat themselves up over parenting than men.
Oh, 100%.
So I don't know if that's the case, but I think guys and girls can
definitely
both
think that,
relate to this.
yes,
but
I
more
definitely think it's more of a woman's touch
Yeah.
to have this kind of,
guilt.
yeah.
But you have to recognize, and you look at your own parents when you become a parent,
Yeah.
and you say to yourself, oh, they were just two
Kids.
kind of adults, new adults trying to figure out life,
Yeah.
trying to figure out their jobs, and then they had to deal with us,
Yeah.
and we're doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So you put your best foot forward, and
Yeah.
that's it. Your kids will not, I think, maybe again I'm simplistic on this, I think if you put your heart in the right place,
Mm-hmm.
things will fall into place.
Yeah, and sort of to add to that, I think that what to do when you don't like each other very much, you show up, you act in the best interest of your entire family, your entity, as opposed to like, this person is not really behaving in the way that I'm used to them behaving, so screw them.
Yeah.
That's
easier.
It's so much easier, right?
Yeah.
And it's our instinct. Our ego gets hit, or our mind starts running through all the possible scenarios, and you say, well, I did this and they didn't do this and blah, blah, blah. But to go into the he did and she did and I did and they did, it's just not a healthy way. And it's just, you'll end up in this downward spiral. I think you just show up and you keep putting your effort in and you keep putting your best foot forward, and you do what you've always done, and you wait until you kind of go back on that same road. You like merge onto the same street again.
They make it a point to show appreciation for each other every day. A simple thank you for a meal prepared, a compliment on a chosen outfit, or gratitude for handling a tedious chore. These acknowledgments make each feel valued and loved. In their journey, Sheena and Dinesh have discovered that the strength of a relationship lies in its daily renewals. Each day is an opportunity to affirm their commitment, to grow closer, and to reinforce their bond. It appears that the secret to long-lasting love might just be found in the everyday moments. Now back to the podcast.
It's never too late. I know some people hear this and they think to themselves, oh yeah, that would never work. That's the problem. Like, you are starting with an expectation of failure, and you can't do that. You will hear this in different ways from different people. You'll hear it from religious texts. You'll hear it from motivational speakers. You hear it from athletes. This whole concept of visualization, right? This whole concept of quote unquote putting it out there. These are all exactly the same thing. They're exactly the same. It doesn't matter where you hear it from or how it's instituted.
It's like an I can mentality.
Whatever you put out if you say you can, you can. If you say you can't, you can't. You're right no matter what you say. So if you are approaching this and you yourself internally are saying, oh, that would not work for me, you're correct. It will not work for you. If you are in a relationship that has been a struggle and you have the courage to say, I will take the first step and this is going to work for me, it will work for you. Your partner will look at you the first time like you're crazy. They'll think you want to, you're pulling something over them because you're actively changing your behavior. But in time, I am naive enough to believe that you will succeed. If you keep putting it out there, you will take a few hits to your ego, but you keep putting it up there and you take whatever that natural response is, that response that you get from somebody who, for whatever reason, your relationship has translated to taking shots at each other. You'll get a few shots and your guard will be down and it will hurt, but go again the next day and go again the next day and keep your guard down and say, I am going to do this because I care about this. I like to believe there's a fairy tale ending here. And everyone will then find a little more joy in their relationship. You have to just put it out there. It is shocking to me how that works. Like, it actually...
We've shocked each other. Like, there have been moments in our relationship too where we're going through something and one of us puts their guard down and just says, okay, I'm here. I'm ready. I'm willing. I'm giving. And the other person sort of looks at them and is like, oh, okay. And their guard goes down too. If you have your guard up, the other person naturally puts their guard up. Whereas if you put it down, that's what mirrors back at you.
And it's the hardest part. It's hard to do it. But if you succeed,
the overall joy factor,
you'll
just
get
goes up.
there.
Respect in their relationship is not merely a passive presence. It's active, dynamic. It influences their interactions, ensuring they are always building each other up rather than tearing down. This is evident in how they handle conflicts. Dinesh, understanding the importance of respecting Sheena's viewpoints, sets aside his ego to find what can soothe the moment, turning tension into tenderness. This isn't just about keeping peace. It's about valuing his partner's happiness as much as his own. Sheena, on her part, mirrors this respect profoundly. Even without seeing her husband's eyes, one can perceive the admiration she holds for him. It's in her attentive posture, the warmth in her voice, and the glow of her smile when she speaks to or about him. This mutual respect is their secret ingredient, turning everyday interactions into opportunities to deepen their bond. Moreover, their respect for each other is a lesson in humility and grace. It teaches us that in a world eager to react, there is immense strength in responding with consideration and kindness. It reminds us that respect is not about conceding defeat, but about cherishing the person you have chosen to walk through life with. Their mutual respect also sets a powerful example for resolving disagreements. By choosing respect over resentment, they manage to not just resolve issues, but to grow closer. turning potential conflicts into moments of mutual understanding and deeper connection. When respect guides your actions, love deepens. Ever heard of the circle of love? It's not just a theory, it's practice. In the lives of Sheena and Dinesh, we see a vivid illustration of this beautiful concept. Each gesture of kindness and understanding they extend to one another fuels a deeper connection and affection, creating a self-reinforcing cycle of love. Dinesh, in moments of tension or disagreement, sets aside his ego to focus on actions that will bring joy to Sheena. This isn't about conceding defeat. Rather, it's about prioritizing harmony and happiness in their union. Sheena reciprocates this affection with equal fervor. The love Dinesh gives doesn't vanish into the ether. It returns to him amplified. This exchange isn't transactional but transformational. It deepens trust, bolsters affection, and fortifies their bond. Their practice of the circle of love isn't just about keeping the peace. It's about actively constructing a fortress of mutual respect and adoration. Sheena pointed out that she believes this episode has important life lessons for successful marriages. They have great communication. They both love each other. They both care deeply for each other. They both are giving people, and they both want to please each other. Neither one of them is selfish when it comes to their relationship. They both work at it daily, and they both come up with plans to make their relationship stronger. And most importantly, they both listen to each other and respect each other. This is a great model for a quality relationship, and when I get married, I will choose a woman like Sheena. I used to think that there weren't any more good women left. I still sort of think that. But watching women like Sheena and other women on YouTube, such as Bella Bashan, Daniela Oyaga, Jackie Vantine, Sherry Ann Zephyrin, Foundational Truths with Nyanda, and even the so-called radical Pearl Davis of Just Pearly Things podcast, they all have wife material mentality. They all will be a perfect asset to a marriage because they are not selfish-minded women. They all have team mentality. In conclusion, two important things Dinesh pointed out in this episode that serves as the foundation of their strong relationship. One, they are both able to put their egos aside for the other's happiness. Two, like Dinesh pointed out, when they get into disagreements or when things get tense between them, he figures out what he can do in the moment to make her happy and diffuse the tension. He concludes that when he takes that approach, the love from his wife comes back to him tenfold. I call that the circle of love. You give love to get love. They have figured out a way to keep that circle of love going strong. He gives her love by doing things that will make her happy when she is upset or when things are not going smooth in their relationship. And he gets back love tenfold from his wife Sheena. That is a perfect example of the circle of love operating in real time. Until next time, keep growing, keep learning, and keep living with authenticity. Remember that life is a journey. Be sure to visit lifelesson.tv for more.